So, Brexit is still not ongoing and going, to be honest, generally towards an absolute catastrophe. However, there's one, shall we say, bright spark that all Brexiteers seem to cling to, and that is that Britain can somehow become Singapore. Well, first of all, guys, quick history lesson over Singapore. Singapore's government isn't elected, shall we say, democratically, it's elected dynastically, and has a massive authoritarian streak. Now, the other advantage that Singapore had was it was incredibly strategically placed, and at that time, when it rose to its prominence, it was probably the most stable government and, country in that region, and it attracted a lot of investment and became known as the gateway to Asia. Now, here's the problem. When you look at how Singapore worked, particularly with its markets, it didn't diverge. There was no divergence. It integrated. It integrated heavily. And you can also attribute a lot of Singapore's rise to also the rise of China. However, if you look at what's going on now, you now see that a lot of Chinese businesses are now moving out of Singapore because it's no longer viable. There's no longer any reason to be there. They might as well be in China and be there. You've also got the reason, quite a telling reason recently, that its shipping business, even though it's, 31 times its GDP, has been stagnating for quite a number of years. However, other ports, such as Hong Kong, have been increasingly growing over the years. This is because of they have started to diverge rather than integrate with the local markets around them. Now, if Britain wants to succeed, it has to integrate with its local markets. Now, this is something Brexiteers do not want to hear, because, oh no, we get to we get to choose our own regulations and diverge and whoo. But of course, most Brexiteers don't actually know or understand what these divergences are going to be, because, well, we don't know, except the Tory right, who basically want to turn the UK into a really, really low tariff thing and increase and have a load of cheap exports flood the country, which will then damage the local businesses and industries in this country significantly, bearing that in mind. But if you tell this to Brexiteers, it's like, la 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 la. They don't want to listen. So here's the thing, and the lesson that Brexiteers should be learning from Singapore but don't want to, is that divergence from your local your local markets, which you most trade with, is not a good idea. Instead, you should be integrating with your local markets more, but of course Brexiteers don't want to hear that. And that ultimately is the real lesson of Singapore.